Being a part of the community is a huge thing, especially when we're talking about Springdale schools. I love volunteering. Me and my mom, we volunteer to translate for marshalies. I want to stay here and pour back into the community because growing up, the community gave so much to me and my growth as a child. This is such a great community for just Springdale in general. It's a great place to raise your family. I am Anna Norris, and I'm a portrait of a Springdale graduate.
Hi, and thank you for joining us for this very special episode of Springdale Today. I'm your host, Mary Jordan. Today we're going to be chatting with seniors who are preparing for graduation and the many opportunities they have to look forward following high school. Joining us today are Sally Aponte-Madera of Springdale High School, Daniel Paxton of Don Tyson School of Innovation, and Ethana Hang of Har-Ber High School. Thank you guys for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
I just want to kind of go around in a circle real quick and get to know who you guys are, let the audience recognize your voice a little bit. Sally, what Springdale schools did you go to?
I moved a lot and when I was little, so I went to Bayari, Parson Hills, George Elementary for my elementaries. And after that, I pretty much just stayed in Joe Kelly, George Junior High, and then Springdale.
But we kept you. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Is you went from school to school, but we kept you. What about you, Ethana?
Yeah, so I've been a Springdale student my entire life. For elementary school, I went to Walker Elementary, and then middle school was Helen Tyson Middle School, Southwest Junior High, and now I'm a senior at Har-Ber High School.
Very cool. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I've also been a Springdale student my whole life. I started at Hunt Elementary, and I went to Don Tyson School of Innovation, where it's 6 all the way through 12, so I've kind of been stuck with them in a good way.
And then, Daniel, what's your family like?
So my family, we actually own restaurants. So we own Thai Basil Express actually down the street that we just opened up, and we own Thai Basil in Bentonville. So they both work there and work hard in the restaurants. So
Thai Basil. I've eaten there.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good food, yeah. What about you, Ethana?
Similar to Daniel and his family, my parents are also business owners. They're both nail technicians, so they own nail designs in Springdale.
Cool. My mom and dad work at George's. My dad's a leader, and my mom works in packing.
And what have your years been like for you as a Springdale Bulldog, Sally?
My years, I say very entertaining. Springdale's got that type of, no matter what you feel like when you're entering it, you know something is going to happen that's going to entertain you, is going to keep you hooked.
Daniel, what can you tell us about your experience as a Don Tyson School of Innovation student?
I'm so happy to be at Don Tyson School of Innovation. One of the things I really love about it is that a lot of my classes are really small. And looking at a lot of other districts, I'm not going to say any names, but it seems to me it's really intimidating to have these really giant classes. One thing I noticed that's really common around pretty much all Springdale school district, or really schools within the district, is that a lot of the classes are really small. And it really allows you to get that good relationship with your teacher and really learn a lot more effectively, in my opinion. So,
Ethana, what about you? Has your time as a Wildcat been something to really remember for you?
Yes, absolutely. I think memorable is an understatement. I've been incredibly involved throughout Har-Ber, and as much as I've served Har-Ber, Har-Ber has served me back. I think that the sense of community and the support system that I've cultivated at Har-Ber is something that I cannot find anywhere else and within any other school district.
Okay, now what can you guys tell me as you're approaching graduation as far as some of the classes and priorities that have been particularly important for you this last year for you?
Yeah, I can go ahead and go first. I think this whole, I'm Har-Ber High School senior class president, so this entire year I've been focused on making sure that everyone else has a very memorable senior year. I've been planning events such as Powder Puff and volleyball tournaments and our senior sunrise, these very memorable and critical events that kind of define our senior year. So as we're approaching the end, one of my biggest goals for myself is kind of enjoy it myself, kind of take a step back and, look at the progress that I've made with this school and just reflect and be appreciative. As for classes, I am in 6 AP classes currently. So my goal for the rest of the year is to keep studying and finish strong.
Wow, 6 AP classes.
Yes,
That's really impressive. And that's just this year.
That's just this year.
Sally, what about you? How have you been kind of rounding up your senior experience?
Well, I just got my cap and gown today, so I'm really excited about that. But my senior year, honestly, has been experiences. It's like this surreal, like it's about to end, and you're just like, I want something to like have a grab, like memories, hold on to something. But currently, I just got my Revit certification, so I was working on that for a while. And AP classes, the AP exams, I'm taking calculus and AP laying. So,
what was the certification you said you earned?
Revit,
What is that?
it's an architecture program. So, when you go into like you want to become a professional architecture, that's the program they start you off. It's your whole freshman year of college. So I started using that this year because I'm taking architecture 1 and architecture 2.
Good for you. And you did that in high school.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. Congratulations on that. And Daniel, what about, how have you defined your senior year?
I'd say it's gone by really quickly. I remember we were saying that earlier today, and just like Ethana, I'm wrapping up my AP classes, getting ready for those exams coming up, and I also have a coding competition coming up in a couple weeks that I'm getting really nervous for too. So that's kind of what's been going on for my senior year so far.
Coding competition. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so every year I participate in the Code for AR. It's a Arkansas regional competition where we have I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a pretty large amount of programming classes that participate in a 3-person team. And essentially they would compete to all go to, they call it kind of like the finals, which is I believe they take the top 15 of each school and they would put them all head against each other. And this year it's being located at UCA in Jonesboro. So we have to drive all the way over there. So.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. My friend just went today to Skills USA, the competition. She left and she was super happy.
What has the experience been like for you guys and growing up in Springdale schools?
My experience has been really, really good. Like, I could not imagine going to school somewhere else. My dad's side of the family lives in Florida, so we visit a lot. And like I see their school and our school, I'm like, I really enjoy Arkansas more than Florida.
You just think we have the culture of the schools a little bit better, you think?
I think the culture and like the overall like sociability. I'm a very social person, so I love to connect with people, do outside activities. I go to the elementaries, try to tell them different pathways they can take.
Ethana, what about you? Have you enjoyed your experience over the years as a Springdale student and growing up in our schools?
Yes, absolutely. Springdale Schools has poured so much belief and support into me, and I think that the power that being a Springdale student has given me will carry me far beyond after I graduate. At every single school I've been at, there's always been numerous teachers and peers that have done nothing but rooted for my success. And that community of being a Springdale student, that's truly priceless.
Daniel, what about you? Can you share anything about your experience in our schools?
Absolutely. I would say one of the things I really notice about the Springdale School District is how collaborative it is. One thing that I really notice about at least my school personally is that since we have an AV Tech department that I am heavily involved in, we would also go out to different schools, elementary schools, other high schools, and we would really collaborate on a lot of projects. And even Springdale today, we produced, I think, a few packages for that as well. And that to me just shows how important collaboration is and how powerful it is, especially not only in AV Tech, but in a learning environment in general.
So Springdale today is a reimagining of a show that used to be done by the television production companies within our high schools. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
And so it was very valuable, and everything that you as students were doing as TV production students was so valuable, we wanted to continue that in some way. And so when we thought, gosh, what could we do for a podcast? We thought, well, yeah, you guys had already made the building blocks for us. So we just kind of reimagined what you guys had started. So thank you for giving us a good start on that. I didn't know that we had some of the old school crew in here with us today. That you guys are all involved with super STEM-centric areas and interests. What are you guys doing outside of class or outside of school? Anything that of interest for you?
I'm my church's youth leader, so I organize activities with the youth, try to get them active. We do Bible studies, but I'm also the musician, so I have to do rehearsals with the band, and plus I know you said outside of class. Like today, later tonight, I have night class. My CDL classes. We're driving heavy equipment today.
Oh, wow. What kind of heavy equipment?
The bulldozers, excavators. I think they said they'll bring a new machine. Not entirely sure, but excited.
Well, that's another bridge to the engineering aspect of your education, but it's the more hands-on piece of it. So you're really learning everything from the math and the STEM aspect to it to right down to how to actually operate and do the work. That's really awesome.
I'm working with the ARCA ag teachers.
Oh, wow. That's good for you. I'm excited to hear what you get to drive today. Are you guys involved, Ethana and Daniel, are you guys involved in any kind of extracurriculars or anything outside of class or school as well?
Yeah, I can go. So I like to help out at my parents' restaurant a lot too. I mean, I love the environment and just hanging out with my coworkers really. And I also really love, it's kind of a little off topic, but I love working on cars. That's one of my big passions right there. And one of my favorite things is automotive fabrication. So like all the welding, all the grinding on the metal, and a lot of metal work and things like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do after this actually. So
Question.
So, yeah.
What's your dream car? Everybody's got the dream car.
Oh, the NSX, the Honda NSX. That's what I've been looking at recently. So
Why that car in particular?
gosh, it's 90s car. I don't really know exactly the engine code on it specifically, but the actual chassis on it is unlike no other. I believe it's equally weighted. It's a really good cornering car, so way better than most of the other 90s cars in my opinion. So
All right. Well, Sally, you asked a question. What's your favorite car?
I don't have one. My dad is a mechanic. Well, was a mechanic in Puerto Rico, so he fixes a bunch of cars. And my opinion, I'm like, as long as it drives and it gets me to where I'm trying to go, I love it.
I'm the same way with the TV. My husband thinks it needs to have all the colors, and I'm like, if I can see it, I'm happy as can be.
Yeah.
Now, Ethana, what about you? Are you doing anything outside of school or any extracurriculars?
Yeah, as for extracurriculars, I'm definitely staying busy. Within Har-Ber, I'm involved with our senior class council. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm our senior class council president. I'm an officer of National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, and I'm really involved in HOSA. That's kind of been one of the big pillars of my high school experience. So for those of you who don't know, HOSA is a career technical and student-led organization. So HOSA specifically empowers students to be members of the global health community through collaboration, experience, and community. So I actually had the privilege this year of being a HOSA state officer. So not only was I able to lead Har-Ber, but I was also able to lead the entire state of Arkansas, and we have over like 3,000 members. And so outside of school, a lot of my extracurriculars are medical focused and community focused especially. So with HOSA, I did a lot of community service projects, traveled to different states. One of the big projects that we did with HOSA is NMDP, so bone marrow donation, and encouraging people to donate stem cells towards like medical research, and also just for those who have rare blood disorders.
Wow, that's really amazing. That's really amazing. Thank you so much for getting involved with those things because, you know, ripple effects. Yeah. You're going to affect so many more people than you ever know that you're going to. Thank you for sharing that with us too. Now, have any of you had an opportunity to participate in the internships? I know Sally says she's obtained a certification. Have any of you had any other chances to do any like professional advancements or get any degrees or internships through the district in your experiences?
A lot of my experience with internships haven't been through the district just because as a Springdale student, a lot of my focus went into taking AP classes. So like leaving school to do an internship or to get a certification through like concurrent courses kind of conflicts with also taking AP courses. But outside of school, throughout the summer, I took my certified nursing assistant course and I got certified in CNA.
Congratulations.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's super fun.
Is there anything that you did within school, though, that helped lead in a pathway to that at all for you guys, as far as that goes? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
For me, I did it during school. Like, I worked with the principals. The principals were really nice to work with, because to become a CNA, you have to take, for me, it was 3 weeks of courses before you can take the state exams. So my principals worked with me in my attendance. So yeah, like 3 weeks is a lot to miss. So they worked with me with my attendance, made sure I was fine so I could still graduate and still get certified.
Yeah, I've been there. I made some of those similar choices when I was a senior too. So I get that. And praise God that you had those supports in place to help you get to where you needed to go. That's fantastic. Anybody else have anything to add to that as far as any job opportunities or pathways that they've kind of helped get created through their time at Springdale schools?
Yeah, I would say not necessarily an internship, but through AV Tech at least, I've had a lot of opportunities to work with industry-leading professionals. And I've been able to go on set, film like these really high-budget commercials, help out and things like that. So although it's not a direct internship, I feel like that industry experience really broadened my vision of what high-production AV Tech really looks like.
And you guys have kind of touched on a little bit about the future, but what can you guys share as far as what you think right now you'd like to do career-wise and your future as far as studying in college and where you hope to go from here?
Sorry.
That's right, Sally.
For me, I'm leaning towards electrical engineering and studying at the U of A. But I'm debating between electrical and computer engineering.
Why are you debating between the two?
I don't know. I find that the fields mix so much, and I love the component access. Like currently, for my senior capstone in engineering, I'm building a vending machine from scratch, and we have the whole like Raspberry Pis, electrical magnets based is more electrical, but the whole coding is more computer, and I love both aspects, so I'm debating which one I want to follow.
Maybe there's a perfect marriage between the two. What kind of vending machine, I have to ask? What is it trying to vend?
Our senior project is it's towards the homeless, and so there is a problem in Springdale with littering and the homeless, where the homeless congregate. So we made a vending machine, or we're making a vending machine that takes plastic and cans and recognizes it and gives you points that you can use to get food, water from the vending machines.
That's really cool. That's a really, really neat and thoughtful project. Thank you for sharing that with us. What about you guys? Neurosurgery, right? We know that. Anything more that you want to consider as far as where your path after high school may take you that you might want to share?
So you wanted to know, like just right after high school?
Well, I mean,
kind of,
long-term things. I mean, what do you, as far as careers and hopes and what you want to do with your education someday, perhaps?
Yeah, so my dream is to really be like a true statistician in the financial markets, and that is in what's called quantitative research as well. That's working for hedge funds, speculating different assets and things like that. And I will be going to the University of Michigan for statistics and financial risk management. So I hope they'll be able to take me there. So
that sounds interesting. It sounds very, very interesting. Ethana, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes. After high school, I will be attending Yale University with a major in neuroscience. So with that degree, I'm hoping that it'll prepare me for medical school. And then after medical school, my dream is to become a neurosurgeon. And then throughout all my education, I really want to focus a lot on scientific and medical research, primarily anything to do with Alzheimer's and strokes, those are the two disciplines that fascinate me the most, and I feel like I can make the biggest impact just as a student.
Do you guys feel prepared for what comes next after you walk across that stage at graduation?
Well, I do. I personally do. But I think it's because in Springdale, I've done the engineering stuff, pathways. I'm a CNA, so I've tried medical. I've done the agriculture pathway, which is the heavy equipment, machine more hands-on. I've tried a bit of everything, and I think with my personality, I'm just like, go for it.
Yeah. What about you, Ethana?
I definitely feel prepared going into this next chapter of my life. Not only like academically, I think Har-Ber prepares students very well for the rigor that comes with post-secondary education, but also mentally. I feel like so many people from Har-Ber and my teachers and my peers have really truly believed in me and instilled this confidence to kind of show me that I deserve what I have earned. And I think that, you know, not only being like physically prepared for things, but also mentally prepared is very critical when, like as students, we have to overcome and tackle all the changes that are coming with this next phase of our lives.
Daniel, how do you feel about what comes next?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this new chapter of life that we're all about to approach on. So I'd say at least personally my school has really prepared me very well for that, especially through the AP classes that I have and also the teachers like you're mentioning as well. And I would say the thing that really prepared me the most was probably how important, or how at least in a lot of my elective classes, how much the teachers love to emphasize what the industry is actually like. Mm-hmm. We would have constantly new industry professionals come in. We would constantly have new chats or expand our network, at least when it comes to the field that we're all interested in. And I feel like that will not only carried me through high school, but also is going to carry me through college as well, I hope.
Yeah, I loved it when my school did professors from the U of A and students, when they came in and talked about what they were doing. I love to hear that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love it when, you know, we bring professionals in and then we can see like what, like outside of textbooks, like what is being in this career field actually like.
Absolutely.
And the former students who come back once they...
That's awesome too.
Their stories are super fun and interesting.
Do you think you guys might be willing to come back and talk 10 years from now, when you guys have all started your careers, really gotten in there and are starting to change the world? Would you come back and talk to the schools?
Oh, absolutely. For me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I didn't want to only talk at Don Tyson only. I wanted to go out to Har-Ber, SHS as well. So yeah.
I would love to.
All right, now, we've talked a lot about the education aspect, but none of that happens without the people, right? Are there relationships that you've formed throughout the years that are meaningful to you that you feel may continue for you after high school? How so?
Yeah, so going into today, I actually knew that I was going to talk about one specific teacher just because he's had such a monumental impact on me. He's Mr. Fink. He's the AP Calculus A, B, and BC teacher at Har-Ber. I would not be sitting here, I would not be where I'm going if it weren't for Mr. Fink and everything that he has done for me. I think he is really the epitome of what it means to be a Springdale Schools teacher. He believed in me when I didn't have the power to believe in myself. He kept his door open for me constantly. I think students who know me, like, you know where to find me, because every passing period, every out period, it's like I'm just going to be in his classroom hanging out. But he was such a critical piece of my story and this next chapter of my life. And I can't, you know, even as I continue to fulfill my dreams and complete successes, I think I'll always continue to, you know, email him, check up on how he's doing at Har-Ber too.
What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I'd say probably one of the most impactful teachers that I've had was actually one of my middle schools at Don Tyson. That was a computer science known as Mr. Redfern. He was such a huge impact for me because I remember my first day in 6th grade, at least, he noticed that I was really interested in computers because I was constantly asking questions about, like, how much RAM does this have? How does this work, this and that? And he actually signed me up for the cybersecurity team there. And that's kind of where I started. I initially really wanted to go into cybersecurity. I felt like that was my calling, but I feel like as time went on, he really started to introduce me to the broad field of computer science. And I would like to say statistics, in my opinion, is kind of like a field in computer science in a way. I would say a lot of statisticians these days are actually programmers in a way. The tools that they use, a lot of, especially the machine learning and data science and new fields coming up, really requires a lot of statistics. And that's kind of why I really wanted to go into that. And I would say without him, I would never be able to find that passion. So.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Sally?
Well, teacher base, I got to give a shout out to Mr. Burkett. He's my night class teacher. He really works with you in whatever career pathway you want to do. Like in my night class, there's people who's going straight into trades. There's universities. It's super diverse in my night class and during the day. So he's really helped me out in the questions I've had. I'm like different careers, and especially in my project, the vending machine, he's helped me out. And then relationships, like peer-wise, I think the people part of the academy, I feel like I'm going to keep in touch with them for a long time. They'll probably get sick and tired of hearing from me, but
I have a feeling they'll be thrilled to hear from you. Now, I'm wondering, as you guys are getting ready to move on from high school, what advice would you give students that are starting high school next year?
I feel like my biggest mistake was really comparing myself to my friends and comparing myself to others. I would constantly see kids that were, taking like a gazillion AP classes, and be their first year in high school, and taking all these extracurriculars, this and that. But one thing I really noticed is that once I stopped comparing myself, that's when I really started to grow. Instead, you should compare yourself to the person you were yesterday, right? You should always look for improvement within yourself rather than improvement against other people, because that's when it starts to create like this really competitive environment that, where no one grows in reality. So I feel like that alone can take you very far. So
thank you for sharing that.
That is such good advice, because I feel like, me as a freshman, that's something that I really needed to hear as well. If for someone that's just coming into high school, the biggest advice I would give is, if you care about something and if something inspires you, embrace it. I think that a lot of people told me, like when I was going into high school, that I was like too hyperfixated on certain things. And even though, yes, to some extent that was absolutely true, but effort is never embarrassing, and I think the hard work can never be wasted. So if you really care about something, like make it your passion. Really try to explore all different avenues of something. Yes, explore new things and embrace your passions, but don't limit yourself on completely just one field right now. You have time to grow and to learn.
Thanks, Ethana.
With the don't limit yourself to a certain thing. I feel like as a freshman, it was the social aspect. You're so like timid or something, and everybody feels the same way as you are, and you just like go up to people and talk. That's my advice for freshmen. I'm like, just approach people and talk. And especially your freshman year, getting to know the teachers is awesome. The teachers really help you out in like based on like where you want to go pathway wise. I feel like my freshman year was my sophomore year was really something. Like my geometry teacher, he would always check up on you. Even though he taught math, he would check up on you in like English and other classes. And he's like, this helped my kid when he was struggling through like in the reading scores or like social aspect, like the pressure. And he would help us out, and he's like, if you want to go through this career and this pathway, you can take these classes and the others. So like getting to know the teachers and like getting to know different people in different academies and like career pathways, that would be my advice for freshmen, sophomores.
For anybody starting high school,
Yeah.
right? All right, great. Thank you, guys. Now, we talked about a lot. We really have. Is there anything in particular you thought, gosh, when we're on today, I really want to make a point of mentioning this one thing, or anything that you'd like to add at all to the conversation? No? All right. Wonderful. Well, please go.
There is one more thing that I want
yes.
to add. I think a big part about being a Springdale student is service. I think that's one of the most meaningful things that I have been able to contribute as my time of being a Springdale student. So like as a Har-Ber student, I spend a lot of time at my old elementary schools. Like I go back to Walker Elementary and I do sidewalk chalk, or I open up doors for young elementary students, and I tutor at Tyson Middle School. So another thing that I want to emphasize to just anyone in general is like community service and giving back to the people who supported you and loved you is always a fulfilling experience.
Being involved.
Mm-hmm. It really does. It makes you so much more, gives you so much more of an understanding of what people around you are going through, just simply because you're able to see it firsthand. And now all three of you will be able to do your senior walks through your elementary schools. And Sally, you could possibly do 2 or 3 if you really wanted to. So you get that moment to see just how little you once were as you walk through the halls of your old elementary schools wearing your caps and gowns. I am sure I'll see you, at least one of you, at least one of them, because we're going to cover all of them. So be sure to give me a wave when you're going down the hall. I can't wait to see you.
Are you covering the U of A too?
No, not that senior walk. No, but I'll be at your graduations. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much for having us.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Springdale today. My name is Mary Jordan. I'm your host, and I look forward to talking to you more about what's happening in Springdale in the future.
Springdale Today is a production of the Springdale Public Schools Communications Office.
The podcast is hosted by Mary Jordan and is produced and edited by Micah DeLacy.
Be sure to subscribe to Springdale Today for free on your favorite podcast platform.
And don't forget to follow Springdale Today on social media for episode updates
and behind-the-scenes conversations.
Thank you for listening. We hope you join us in the future as we continue to learn about the amazing stories happening in Springdale today.